Belfast's maritime history stretches back centuries, from the influence of the River Farset to the Scottish entrepreneurs who built the docks which spawned shipbuilding. My trail now leads me to the Harbour Commissioner's office, where I hope to find out how Belfast expanded into the worldwide port we know today. William, I'm on this journey to explore the Maritime Trail as such of Belfast. And I think that one of the most sort of visceral ways to do it is to look at these remarkable maps of the town which becomes a city.
The actual channel into the quay in Belfast is not very wide, and it's not very deep.
Right.
And so as ships get bigger, so they have to stay further out in Belfast Lough. And so goods coming into Belfast or being exported from Belfast have to be unloaded onto lighters, smaller boats, and brought in or taken out on these mobile. And that includes passengers as well, of course. So there was a growing realisation that this was not sustainable.
Yeah, it's labour intensive.
It had to be, something had to be done to improve the harbour facilities and to improve the course of the channel out into Belfast Lough. So in 1785 you have the Ballast Board established in Belfast, and then its successor body, the Harbour Board, the Harbour Commissioners. And so these bodies are responsible for massively improving the actual harbour facilities and then the actual channel out into Belfast Lough.
Armed with William Rolston's valuable information, I've come to one of Belfast's most iconic buildings, the Harbour Commissioners, to meet Peter McCabe, a local tour guide. Peter, I've always heard it said that the Harbour Commissioner's office is one of the most opulent buildings in Belfast. But before it was built, what is the significance of this part of the city?
Well, we're right here on the shores of the Lagan, and this is where the likes of the shipbuilding started in Belfast, in this very area on this shore. Most people think of shipbuilding being with Harland and Wolff being over on County Down, but it actually started here on the County Antrim side before it moved over to the County Down side.
And who were the first shipbuilders who saw the potential on this site? Who came here first?
It was the Ritchie brothers. They came over from Saltcoats in Ayrshire originally, and when they arrived in Belfast, there was very few folks engaged in the shipbuilding trade, and thanks to the industry and the drive of the Ritchie brothers, that soon changed. So out the back of this beautiful building, then we still have the Ritchie docks, which are there, still visible to this day. So they're often forgotten, these two Scottish brothers, and the contribution they made.
And am I right in saying that the ships would have actually moored right up at the front of what was the original Harbour Commissioner's doors here? Would that have been the case?
But the Lagan would have come up to the area which is now being redeveloped as the City Quays Park. So yes, it would have been right on the Lagan. And it's not hard to imagine because there are still, the Lagan's not too far away, but it certainly used to come up to the front doors of the original building.
So we're here at the junction, I suppose, at the confluence of the Farset and the Lagan, which is seen as a prime site for shipbuilding. And then I suppose this actual building comes into being. So I suppose something I've always thought of, who were the Harbour Commissioners, and what was their role, and why did they need a building like this right in the heart of Belfast?
Well, the building itself opened in 1854, so Belfast would have been a lot different to the Belfast we're sitting in, 170 years later. Basically, the Harbour Commissioners themselves needed somewhere to show off to the world, and they could afford to build a magnificent building like this because Belfast was very much up and coming in those days and very, very prosperous. So this is kind of seen as a symbol that Belfast was an industrious city, keen to show off and to export throughout the world. Back in those days, this area would have been very different, but with the likes of William Dargan, for example, redeveloping this area, particularly on the County Down side, Dargan's Island, which is now Queen's Island, now Titanic Water. So all that area down over there is owned by the guys that own this building, Belfast Harbour Commissioners.
And you talked about this building being created to showcase everything that was good about Belfast. So the commissioners, who would they have brought up the stairs of this building? Would these have been traders from all over the world who would have walked these halls? Was this somewhere that they invited potential customers in?
Yes, it definitely has the wow factor. So yeah, I think part of the battle would be if you got someone into this building and you couldn't help but be overwhelmed by the scale and the opulence of this building. So yes, it would have been like an early business card, a calling card. And that continues to this day.
Walking through this amazing building with Peter makes me appreciate the role that subsequent Harbour Commissioners have played in putting Belfast on the world map. The modern port we have today is testament to their foresight and commitment.